Hey guys, here we go into a video on DKU versus Bradley Scott. And we're going to be analyzing some heavy bag work, shadow boxing work, some coaching that he does, and then some Bradley Scott drills and theory and stuff. And we're going to watch him do some stuff. And we're going to talk about all the things that DKU is and is not. Now, this is a video called Use Your Inner Wave Power When Punching. And what he's trying to teach people is how to be in pendulum, right? So this punch here where he's going to jump into the jab, right? He's trying to teach you to use all of your body mechanics to land one punch. Now, I want to say he's absolutely correct. That's exactly what you want to be doing. But this particular jab is not how you do it in the fight. This is not how you do it in the ring in front of another live opponent, okay? Number one, you have to have a way to get on the line with your opponent, okay? As a striking coach, DKU gets to practice a lot of the time. People just standing in front of him, and he just punches. And then he says, look at how much power I can generate. I must know what I'm talking about. And what I want to point out with that type of theory and technique and all that stuff is eventually, if he practices enough, he will refine his technique and his theories enough to understand which parts of them are translatable to boxing and which ones are not. Now, this move here looks very similar to a pendulum right hand. He's going to shoot the one step with his left foot into the right hand. Very, very, very boxing-like motion, okay? Now, real quick, I want you to pay attention to the fact that his head doesn't really move, okay? It moves a little bit on the right hand, but for the most part, it's in the same position, okay? Now, we're going to be talking about a lot of different things, okay? But one thing I want to point out is his waveform technique or idea as he moves here, and then now he's going to move in a straight line as best he can directly into the bag, right? It's a decent shot. It's decent, okay? It's decent. But number one, look at his shoulders, okay? He's not really bringing one shoulder in front of the other. He's not really getting all his weight onto the front foot. I know it looks decent, right? I want to point out, decent right here. Heel, knee, head. It's not bad. But he needs to get his shoulder more forward. He needs to actually cross the line of his target. Now, I know it looks like it from this perspective, but he's basically standing almost straight up and down, okay? He's not really crouching. He's not really getting a lot of weight on that left leg. He's mostly bringing his weight, again, this is a very martial arts concept, directly to the line, okay, as a straight punch. Now, it's a pretty impressive straight punch on the bag. But this is not a power punch, you guys. It's decent, but it's not a power punch, okay? And it's very, very, very important. And we're going to talk a little bit about how and some of the techniques and stuff. But this is one of the things that he's very good at, okay? Now, it's his idea, one of the things that he does, and he does really well, okay, is preventing himself from inhibiting his own kinetic chain, okay? I want you to see how fluid this whole striking sequence is, right? Or boom, boom, right? And then off that, it's okay, right? It's pretty good. But he doesn't block his body mechanics because he knows which parts he's trying to integrate when, so he's not tight, okay? Now, this also prevents him from being in a correct boxing stance before he initiates, okay? Look at how he has to get into his waveform. Look at where his hands are, right? Look at how he's throwing a back fist, not a jab, okay? This is very, very, very important for the flow of his body mechanics and the understanding of where his weight is supposed to be and what position he's supposed to be if he is going to be attempting to chain his weight transitions together. Now, this is the true art of fighting. Most martial arts encapsulate the idea of learning your single weight transition very well, right? Throw your reverse punch. Yeah! 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 But when do they chain them together into 1, 2, 3s? Probe, probe, hook, right? When? At what point do they practice things that are not punches? At what point do they practice controlling the line with something other than a punch? Okay, now we're going to talk about that idea as we move on to, well, actually, we're going to look at his shadow boxing. So he's got a bunch of drills here, okay? First shadow boxing, okay? Jab, jab, 1, 2. His head's all in the same spot. A little bit of body rotation, right? A little bit of rotation. But notice his head doesn't really move. His head's already in the same position that it's going to end in, so we can tell that he's not really getting a lot of power. However, his Wing Chun is very strong. He doesn't inhibit his body mechanics at all, so he can get a full maximum amount of force through his Wing Chun motion. We're going to talk about how that translates to his boxing later in fluidity. Think, now we're not trying to make him sound all good, like he's great, this greatest thing, but think float like a butterfly. The idea that he's not inhibiting any of his kinetic chain allows him to float and move around seamlessly. Now, he does not practice these motions in the capacity of any type of boxing positions. So they're not going to be translated, especially by the time he's supposed to fight Bradley Scott. But the opportunity for him to understand boxing in this regard or in this manner is there, okay? Because of the fact that he doesn't inhibit his body mechanics. Now, again, he's not a boxer. He's not a fighter, okay? He's a striking coach. And the way that he explores his idea about striking is, well, through punching, but through the kinetic chain, right? Now, again, first, shadow boxing. All he's practiced are 1-2s, right? Now we're going to go to the next little routine. Second shadow boxing. Jab. Jab. 1, 1, 1, 1. Forward, back, right? His head's all in the same spot. Okay? On and off the line. Very basic stuff. At what point does he practice anything but striking? At what point does he practice controlling the line in a way that's not punching? Okay, a little bit slipping off the line here, right? We're going to see some of his sparring and how this translates, okay? Because again, float like a butterfly. Now, his ability to sting like a bee is severely compromised by his inability to chain his weight transitions together. Real quick, technical. No heel, no heel. Ball, ball. Without having any of your weight planted, you have no ability to transition your weight into that space or into that position. Without being able to transition your weight into a position, you have no power. From the balls of his feet, he will be able to form all of the necessary Wing Chun motions and bring his weight to his opponent and strike, but not strike through, not complete his position. He will not be able to drive his weight through his opponent simply because he's efficiently able to get his weight to them. Okay, now this is a very, very, very important idea, okay? And again, a little bit of defense I want to point out, jab catch, right? This is very important because I want you to pay attention to the fact that when he shoots the jab, or he shoots the catch, he doesn't bring his weight with him, okay? His hand just springs up, right, as he's moving back, and he shoots the jab. Now, we're going to take a look at some of the clips of him trying to be faster, right, rather than chaining the motions together. That one's actually not so bad. This one right here, the last one. Bringing his shoulder or his weight a little bit closer to the line on that one. Here, no, here. Let's take a look at that one more time. Where's the catch, buddy? Boom, boom. Nah, it's not that good. But the idea is you want to be bringing your weight to the line to help change positions. Now, we're going to watch him, again, a little bit more shadow boxing, okay? Just because I don't want you guys to think I'm cutting anything out, right? But here's his routine, right? Not a lot of head movement, right? 1-2s, right? Is this how he's going to stand in front of another opponent, right? Now, again, mostly practicing punches. He did a little bit of catching in one of those drills, his fourth shadow boxing. A little bit of feinting forward, right? But where the feints with his hands? Where are the probes? Where are the positional changes? How does he shoulder feint his opponent? How does he threaten his opponent's position with the right hand? Look at him on the back foot here. Look at how most of his kinetic chain is correct. But look at how he's not on the ball of this foot here. Again, once he gets into this position after throwing his right hand, he's no longer driving through the ball of his foot to continue driving his weight forward. He got to the position where he could land his strike, and he's done, right? Again, it's not a real punch. It's Wing Chun. It's in the effort to continue allowing him to set up combination punches, right? Not end any of his weight transitions or any of his combat sequences. Now, we're not going to watch that. We're going to go to the last sequence. I think there's one more. 6 shadow boxing. Okay? 1, 2, and then trying to move off the line, right? 1, 2, 1, and then trying to step off the line, straight back. No head movement, no defense other than moving straight back off the line. And then 1, 2, 1. Now I want you to pay attention to how similar this motion is of him going 1, 2, and how it would be if he threw a 1, catch, and then a 1, okay? The reason that this is very important is because people in DKU's situation and their position, they don't practice what I call on Patreon and other people have been calling, your active guard, the non-punching activity, right? In your active guard, you have to be able to cross the line, transition your weight, change positions, and threaten your opponent's position as well. Otherwise, the whole combat system fails. If you're not able to threaten your opponent's position by moving around them and probing them and using non-punching activity, you're never going to be able to set something up in front of your opponent. You're going to be stuck there. You're not going to be able to, well, how do I want to say this? Understanding defense. Well, I guess we'll just show the clip, right? We'll just move into it. Here he is being coached, right? He's got a fight coming up. So he's like, okay, well, I guess I got to learn how to actually box. So this guy, former WBA featherweight world champion. I don't know how to say his name, man. Su Huan. Hong. I'm not sure which one is his first name. I think it's Su Huan, his first name. So he's trying to teach him to catch and then jab, right? Boom. So parry. Boom, and then sting with the jab. Now, I want you to pay attention to this guy. He's going to catch, and now he steps with his jab. Hard step with his jab, right? Pendulum jab, right? Boom, hard step. Real quick, if we go back to here, here's DKU shooting his jab. Pendulum step jab, right? Right? He can step with that jab just fine. But as soon as he has to start throwing 2 1s, he can no longer step with the punch, right? Again, an inability to transition his weight or chain his weight transitions together, right? Now, that's what he's trying to teach him, but I want you to pay attention to DKU's body, okay? He's trying to make it flashy and fast, and he's not bringing his weight with him. Now, his coach is going to correct him, and this is very important, okay? This is one of those things that even though it's not super apparent that he's doing it, right? We can see it a little bit, right? His weight comes forward. Boom, right? Boom. And then he can sink it into this shot. At an amateur level, it's going to look like DKU's doing the right thing. But he's not bringing his rear shoulder forward, okay? Again, this is one of the first things that you learn to do as a fighter, is start chaining your weight transitions together. The first one that you learn, do you guys know what the first one is? The 1-2, right? But I want you to pay attention to the fact that DKU cannot throw his 1 hard, stepping, like he does here, and then throw a 2 after, okay? He has to take a break, and he has to throw a probing jab, right? No power, stepping forward, back fist. We can't even see the angle here, but this is a back fist jab, and he moves into the right hand. Again, this is something that because he only practice waveform or the kinetic chain, like he's whipping stuff out, he doesn't have to have his hands in positions that are boxing related during the rest of his demonstration. So this stops him from figuring out what types of movements are okay for fighting and what types are not. Again, because all he practices is striking, right? He practices punching. And now we can see him getting his first boxing lesson and cross the line and see how the coach is bringing his weight forward, bring the weight forward, and now he's going to be way more exaggerated to demonstrate, right? Again, what he's trying to do is so invisible to DKU. He has to ruin his excellent technique to exaggerate it to show, right? And now it's the idea is even being lost on how fast it's supposed to be, right? Again, DKU learning for the first time to chain his weight transitions together. And again, one of the signs of someone who doesn't fight, right? Now again, what is he learning? He's learning non-punching activity, right? What does that mean? He's learning to control the line without a punch. Again, this is a very, very important idea when we go to look at his sparring, okay? We're going to look at him sparring a guy who's pretty tall, okay? 6'3", I believe. I'm not sure if I've Googled the right guy or not. But again, look at him, telling him to bring your weight forward. And DKU, so him telling him now, bring your arm forward, right? Bring your forearm forward, right? Control the line. And again, DKU is mismanaging and misunderstanding what he's trying to do. He thinks it's all in the visual component of guarding the line with your rear hand. Now again, this is another problem that someone who has zero combat experience doesn't understand, okay? This guy was a world champion, and he's like, no, bro, you better bring your weight forward. And the reason he's telling him that is because here's DKU's jab, okay? If DKU fought someone who was his size and his level, if he fought himself, that rear hand needs to be brought forward enough with enough weight to catch DKU's own jab. Now, does the little bit of hand movement that DKU is using in this video look like he would be able to intercept his own jab? No. So pound for pound, his catch block technique or his catching technique here is garbage. And here's the worst part for DKU, okay? Here's the worst part. He's fighting a guy that's this big. Look at how fucking big this guy is. He has to interact with this guy's jab, okay? Look at all the weight that this guy can get into every position. On the line, off the line, on the line, on the line, right? This is the monster that he has to be able to catch his weight. He has to be able to interact with this man's weight. And look at how quickly this guy can practice, right? Boom. And manage his own weight on the line, off the line, on the line, into a 1, off the line, into a 1-2. Okay? Now, is his technique perfect? Okay? No, it's not perfect. But number one, DKU has no experience doing something as complicated as this drill here, okay? Let's watch DKU attempt this drill here. This is exactly what he's doing right here. He's practicing the same drill, you guys. Getting on the line. All right, let me warm up my jab. All right, now I'm going to jab off the line. And then jab off the line. 1-2. Oh! But look at how much poorer of a demonstration it is. He's not even in a boxing stance most of it. At what point can he interact with his opponent if his opponent were to throw a punch at him? How does he stop that big monster of a man from throwing a punch at him? Okay? When he throws that jab, was his hand in a position to guard the line and catch that punch? No, because he has to use all his waveform to get into position, right? He has to use all his body mechanics to exert the amount of force that he's doing. Now, he's doing a great job at what he does. DKU is very talented, but he's not a fighter. Teaching people through his kinetic chain and his fun, interesting stuff is a very interesting way to learn martial arts. It's very fun. But it's only a small fraction of how to throw a punch and correct punch technique. Speaking of which, if you guys want to check it out, I'm a boxing coach. And I actually have a very martial arts approach to it. A lot of people joke about it. We call it my karate boxing. But if you want to check it out, I have a shadow boxing program that'll teach you with boxing seminars very similar to this video. that'll teach you how to throw punches, how to set up punches. It has demonstrations. It has theory videos. It has a lot of cool stuff to teach you how to take very, very standard linearized Fouts boxing, or rather, if you're a martial artist, how to take your horse stance, karate stance boxing, or karate stance striking, and turn it into real high-level boxing, okay? Now, it's currently for the holidays until the end of the year. It'll be 30% off, promo code 30. Check it out. It has great reviews. And now, if you're interested in a little bit more high-level boxing, if you're interested in learning how to chain your weight transitions together, if you want to learn the best drills to teach you how to throw your best pendulum right hands, to teach you how to transition your weight from one side of your body to another with speed and athleticism and power that you will never find in another drill. There are no drills ever that can rival these drills. I'm telling you. Nothing. Okay? Check out the Black Belt Pendulum Boxing Program. It's a series of drills that I created. And they're not just single drills. They are super complex and layered drills to make sure you get the most out of your workout and the most amount of your time spent shadow boxing. And these drills are all drills that you can do shadow boxing by yourself. You don't need any equipment. And they will teach you what you need to know about your first weight transition. Okay? Getting into position for your first weight transition, for the more basic one, and then chaining your expert weight transitions together like a professional level fighter. Anyway, check out the programs. Everything in my library is 30% off with promo code 30. And again, I teach it from a very martial arts standpoint, so if you enjoy this video and you practice Wing Chun, like DKU here, obvious control of the line and all that stuff, check out the programs. I guarantee you will find success becoming the fighter you want, okay? Now anyway, some things that we're going to talk about again. We're going to go back and look at some of these training from DKU. Again, we want as much of this as we can. We want to really figure out who DKU is as a fighter. Now again, he's going to start throwing some 1-2s. And again, that motion, I want you to pay attention to how similar it is to one catch, right? Again, DKU doesn't really practice boxing. He practices his striking, okay? Now again, this is such an important idea for when we get into his sparring, because if you only look to control the space with punches between you and your opponent, eventually you're going to get timed and knocked out. Don't ever do that move, guys. Don't ever do that. If you do this move in front of somebody, especially if DKU does this move even one time against Bradley Scott, he's going to get knocked out. 100%, okay? Because he's not going to be able to create any space away from him, and especially against a taller fighter, okay? So just don't do that move, okay, guys? Don't do it, okay? Now, again, not a lot of weight or power in these shots, okay? He's going to show him this move here, pulling back and throwing some punch. Who cares? Pull counter. Boom, boom. When he pulls back, he tries to make a big deal about it, but notice he doesn't really get his weight into this punch, okay? He doesn't bring his weight forward. Look at how his shoulders are here. He doesn't bring this one forward to guard the line or to get his weight into the punch. He's not really changing positions. There's no power in that shot. Now again, remember when we talked earlier about his front foot position and how he doesn't ever have any weight on the ball of his foot? Because he's not driving his weight forward, right? He's just trying to move his shoulders into the correct positions, right? What he's trying to do is go through his kinetic chain, right? Now, using this whipping, snapping motion, he's able to generate some force when he tightens up and makes a fist on impact sometimes. But his footwork is so poor, he's not going to be able to do that stuff while he's moving. Again, as we saw in his heavy bag demo, his footwork, even though he can jump off the line pretty quick, is nowhere near as good as Bradley Scott's. Now, we're going to talk about some other stuff in Bradley Scott's video too. We're going to go back to that, don't you worry. But actually, we're going to go back to it right now. I just want to point something out because I don't want to go back to that part. But he's teaching this drill. Number one, it's UFC Fighter Teaches Punch Bag Drills for Beginners. And this is Padman Bradley Scott from, man, I'm sorry, dude. I only found out about your channel recently, the Boxing Bible. I think it's the Boxing Bible. And this is a video that they have on there. It's actually a pretty good video. They show, it goes slow, and then they show you the how you want to like, think about these ideas and concepts, and it's a good video. And it's got like a bunch of different ways. But what I want to show you guys here is he's going to do this drill here that he just taught. It's jab, it's on the line, jab, off the line, and then jab, 2, okay? Now, we're going to watch him do it a couple times, okay? And I want you to see that, number one, he's going to be getting better at it each time, okay? Notice how his motion is getting tighter and tighter, right? Until his final one. Pretty good, right? Really good rhythm, really good control of the bag, right? That's what I want you to think about here. Because his first jab, when he's like, oh yeah, buddy, right? He's like, boom, and look at that bag fly, right? And now he has to recatch the bag, and look at that second jab. It's bullshit. Right? It's bullshit. We can all say that. But that's okay. Number one, he kept an excellent rhythm with the bag in his 2. He didn't miss the timing. So in a professional fight, even if he missed that jab, he was still in position because he was in all the correct positions. He didn't lose control of himself when he missed. And he was still able to execute a right hand. Excuse me. This is not the case with Mr. Yu. Here, when he shoots his 1, right? Shooting his jab, these jabs here. Come on, throw your jab, bro. Right? What position is he in? Did he wind up in a position to throw a right hand or to get off the line or to, slip or to do A, B, C, or D? Even though he landed the punch, he has almost 0 boxing moves available to him after this shot. And everything went his way. Okay? Look at how slow he is stuck on the line. Again, he's going to do the same thing. Right? A little pendulum jab. Look at him get stuck on the line. Now, the next thing I want you to point out, right? Again, this is indicative of someone who knows how to use the heavy bag. Okay? Because look at the bag. Not every bag is the same, right? So now he gets the bags going and he wants to do the drill again. He gets control of the bag, right? Slows the bag down, gets control of it. To do his demo, boop, on the line, off the line, on the line, off the line. Or on the line, and then right hand, right? And I want to tell you guys real quick, this is such an excellent drill because it's got like a pattern or a feinting, probing style built in, right? On the line, off the line, on the line. And if you're expecting off the line again, surprise, gotcha, right? Really excellent sequence. We're going to talk about why this is so important later, okay? Again, especially against fighters who like to control the line with punches. Very amateur fighters, okay? So, anyway, he's going to control the bag, and I want you to notice the right hand that he lands on this one is way better than the one that he landed before, right? Well, he had more control of the bag when he executed it, right? Does that make sense, guys? Because he understood more about where the bag was going to go and how to control it with his punches, he was able to set up a better punch. I want you guys to think about that concept when you watch someone like this hit the bag and struggle to get into position to land a powerful strike. How long they have to wait. How they have to get into a rhythm or do A, B, C, or D, or all the things they have to do to make sure that their strike is going to be okay, right? And then you have someone, right? You can just control the bag, right? Control it with your jab, right? He wants to set up a 1-2, and he's setting it up with an on-the-line, off-the-line jab, right? Okay, I'll start by controlling the bag here, right? And notice, the bag's not even sitting still for this motion, right? Expert level motion, right? He wants to practice his drill, but he doesn't want to practice against a sitting target, right? So just give it a little push, or you punch it. And now it moves away, and it comes back, moves away, comes back, right? Right back to your drill. Now, he could catch it here again if he wants to stress his technique, or he could pivot and circle and do another drill until that drill lines up again. Okay? Now, again, I want to point out that while he's doing these drills, he probably doesn't do this drill all the time. Okay? He probably doesn't. But that's not a bad thing. Okay? Especially when you look at the idea that he understands that he's supposed to be controlling the bag, okay? He's showing in this demo, not only is he, and we're going to talk about other things too, but it just shows that this guy has so much more of a mastery of his tools, his body, what he's trying to accomplish. it's just so much more evident that he knows than DKU. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and get into the sparring. Okay, you guys probably been waiting 30 goddamn minutes for that. Ha ha. So now we're gonna watch some of the sparring. We're gonna play it first, and I want you to pay attention to DKU throwing punches. Okay, punch to control, right? And then good movement with his feet, right? Punch to control, punch, backhand, punch, right? Decent pivoting off the front foot, right? Lots of movement, right? Lots of head movement, kinda. Not really. He's kind of pulling back. His head's getting stuck in the similar zone. Lots of punches, right? Lots of counters, right? Boom. How did he get away with that shot? How did he get away with that shot timed perfectly over the top? How did he get away with countering that shot? Oh, off the line. Back fist. Real quick, you guys. When you practice punching, right? When everything that you practice is a punch, every time you interact with the line, punch, right? Punch. Punch, right? Punch, okay? 6th round of fierce sparring with a gun to my head. I must say, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, now we're going to take a look at the sparring again, a little bit slower, a little bit more deliberately. And number one, again, opening up with a jab, right? Look at where his head is, stuck on the front foot. How quick does he get off the line? Not that quick. But look at how quick he is with his 1-2 when this guy comes forward, right? Now, 1-2, right? Not bad. But where does he go after he throws that 1-2? What position? Where's he going, right? What position does he look for? Does he control the line? Does he block a punch? Does he get his guard up? No, because all he practices is punching, right? Now, I want to point out real quick, too. Where does this guy think DKU's head is going to be when he throws his jab here? Where? Where does he think it's going to be? Right? Is DKU getting credit for slipping this shot? Does he get credit for slipping this one? Because this one would have landed, right? DKU. Now, real quick, his opponent throws a jab. What does he do? He tries to counter, right? His opponent throws a jab. Oh, he feints a jab. And look at DKU try to cross the line and throw a right hand, okay? His opponent steps forward with the jab. Look at him throw the right hand counter over the top. His opponent's coming forward. Oh, control the space. Control the space. 1-2. Oh, maybe it was open. Maybe. His opponent's, tries to cross the line with the right hand, right? Watch him go from the back foot to the front foot. Control the space with the right hand. Punching again, right? This is a very, very important idea, okay? Look at his opponent interact with him after he throws that right hand. Does he block? Does he catch? Does he take a step off the line? What does he do? He throws a back fist. That is his way of guarding the line. Remember when we talked earlier about his inability to understand what he was trying to achieve with the catch, right? Bringing his weight to the line to interact with his opponent, okay? The way that he's looking to do that, again, is in a very similar way with that back fist. Again, there's no weight in it, but he's hoping that it's going to deter his opponent. Again, controlling the space with his punches, not with the feint, not with the probe, not with an active guard, okay? Not with anything that's non-punching activity, right? Now again, back foot, front foot, and look at him get into this position, very similar position. Watch his opponent throw a jab at him, and watch him pull that punch. Now, real quick, you guys, I want you to take a look at this motion here, okay? His opponent's going to jab with him, and DKU looks to counter by throwing a 1-2, okay? Now, his opponent took a step off the line, and now he's going to take a step back on the line with a 1, okay? Take a look at that sequence one more time live. On the line, off the line, on the line, okay? Where have we seen that before? On the line, off the line, on the line, 1-2, okay? DKU just showed right here that he understands so little about what position he's in. He understands so little about what his opponent is capable of doing with their lead hand, with feinting and probing, that he is constantly walking into traps like this. Okay? Here he is again. Throwing his right hand again. Watch him throw the right hand probe out there. Interacting with his opponent with the right hand. probing, right? With a punch. I don't want to say probing, right? But that's what he's intending to do with it. But his hand is all the way out there, right? Controlling the space with the punch. And now he's on the line stuck because he doesn't have any positions after, right? Look at his position right here. Trying to catch him with the overhand right. Jab, right? 1-2, right? Look at this motion here. Again, his opponent goes right hand, and now all he has to do, take a step off the line. Take a step off the line, and then on the line. 1-2. Okay? DKU is not in any position in almost any point to deal with an opponent who can get on the line and off the line with him. He doesn't understand the concept, what makes boxing and what makes striking so difficult. Everyone has a powerful punch. Everyone in the world can transition their weight from the front foot to the back foot and learn to throw a power punch with both hands. Everyone. But the people that are going to excel at it are the people that can do it really quickly, the people that want to work hard, the people that want to practice their weight transitions thousands and thousands and thousands of times a day. They're the people that want to jump rope for hours, transitioning their weight, one side of their body to the other. Boom, 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 boom. There are no shortcuts like DKU is going to find out. You can't just get really good at one weight transition and then expect to be taken seriously in the world of boxing. Okay? We have, in the world of boxing, no one has ever been better at transitioning their weight from one side of their body to the other than a boxer. No, that's not even true. There are other martial arts that are equally as fantastic and amazing and have, equal parts hand striking. Like, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to tell you guys any more of my biggest influences and, what I like about martial arts and stuff. Being a, lifelong martial artist myself, But DKU needs to, he's learning, okay, that there are more than one weight transition to the fight. There's more than just controlling the space, okay? Now, look at him controlling the space with the probing right hand, right? Same thing, right? Punch over the top. 1-2, right? Now, real quick, you guys. DKU is not a power puncher. I know he looks fancy. I know he's got a solid strike. But DKU, number one, is small. He's not a big guy. This guy is pretty big. Do we think that any of these shots here, look at his punch technique here. Is he even landing with the correct knuckles? No. Now I want you to pay attention. 1, 2, 1. Look at his opponent. His opponent's not even trying to hurt him. But DKU, again, he lives in this world where his striking is so fantastic. And he's never been in the ring with someone who's a real fighter, who's really trying to hurt him. He's never been in front of somebody where it's really mattered if he's able to catch their weight. It's never really mattered if he's been able to bring his weight to the line and interact with their hard jab, interact with their weight before. He's never been in a situation where they would have more than one weight transition on the line, right? Look at his sparring. He's looking to control the space with one shot, land it, and get off. Hopeful, right? Now, fly like a butterfly, sting like a bee. The idea that he doesn't inhibit any of his body mechanics allows him to freely move from one position to the other, right? He looks pretty decent moving around, and if he was fighting someone at a commensurate rate, right, someone who had equal experience, he'd have the opportunity to learn slowly what positions don't work and what positions will, right? But because he's going to be getting in there with somebody like Bradley Scott, who's going to take advantage of, if this punch lands here and DKU doesn't get off the line, right, he's going to get punched in the face, okay? Now, fight theory, okay? If DKU can only control the space between him and his opponent by punching, when is it going to be safe for him to punch? Well, when his opponent's technique is already compromised, right? How does he compromise his opponent's technique if he cannot feint and probe and set a punch up. If he can't defend the line and bait punches, how does he do it? Well, he has to wait for his opponent to throw punches at him. And if he has to wait for punches to be thrown at him, that means that he is going to be looking to interact with his opponent's lead hand, like this. Okay? Now, this is pretty clever. If he can control the space so he can cross this line and go this way against Bradley Scott, he may have an opportunity to make it some rounds. But number one, this is every amateur's pipe dream. Okay? Do you think that he's going to sit in this position and no one in the world has ever seen Floyd Mayweather throw a pull counter like this? You think that he's just going to sit in this position and his opponent's not going to know what to expect? This is a trap. Now, here's the thing. He's looking to pull counter the jab, right? He wants to interact with his opponent's jab. This is every beginner's wet dream, right? Oh, bro, you know what? I'm such a G. Nah, bro. So I'm not even going to box with the dude. As soon as he throws a jab, I'm just going to punch him right in the face. Right hand right over the top of the jab. It's the natural counter. I'm just going to do it. I ain't got to train nothing. I'm just going to do it. Now, what happened here? Well, it looked like he just got comboed by on the line, off the line, on the line, on the line, right? It looks like he just got comboed. That's what happened, right? It looks like he just got played. The guy threw a punch and said, oh, I know he's trying to interact with my jab because I'm a professional fighter. I think this guy's a professional fighter. I think he's 2-0 or something. And he's like, I know you're trying to interact with my jab, so I'm going to set up a trap, right? Stop you from hitting with that punch. And then when I know that punch is safe to get around it, because you can no longer interact with me on the line, because you don't practice chaining your weight transitions together, because you don't know what position comes after this punch, I'm going to attack you. And again, this is one of those problems that striking coaches have, right? That's strikers not understanding that there's more boxing before the punch and there's more boxing after the punch, right? Now, DKU thinks that he's going to be able to interact with Bradley Scott's jab favorably, but he's not going to be feinting or probing, okay? Again, the pipe dream, okay? Every amateur thinks that they're going to be able to do this. I thought I was going to be able to do that. I'm fast, man. I was really fast every day. Now, when I was younger, I didn't have nothing else to do. I had weights. I was always grounded, and I was always working out. I was in my room. I was doing sit-ups. I was doing push-ups. I was jacked, man. I was shredded. And I go to the ring, and I'm like, yeah, bro, I'm going to counter right over his jab. I'm not going to show this guy no respect. I've been training my whole life. And the first time I got in the ring with someone who'd been boxing, someone who could move their weight on the line and off the line, they beat the crap out of me. I couldn't get that guy to sit on the line with me. I couldn't find that guy. I had no idea where he was. And he was right in front of me. And I couldn't get my hands on him. I was so mad. And I remember I'd never had, like, you know, I had these, like, blue Everlast training gloves on. And my coach was, like, laughing at me because he knows the guy I was working with was not going to hurt me, right? He'd been working with him for a couple years. He was a stunt man. He's a pretty nice guy. I only met him twice. And I thought I was going to beat his ass. I looked at him. I was like, no, I'll beat your ass, man. He was a little bigger than me. He was like 125. I was like 118 or 119 or whatever. Yeah, he was just beating me up. And in the second round, my coach is like, hey. He's like giving me shit. He's like, hey, you better keep your hands up. You better keep it. And he knew I couldn't. I thought I had my hands up, but they were like at my chest, right? And they felt heavy. Anyway, I couldn't. By the time the guy was slowing down and playing with me, and I thought I would have a chance, I thought I'd be able to get my glove over his jab. Even in the second round, I didn't realize how far behind I was. I kept thinking that I'm going to catch him. I'm going to catch him. I had no idea where I was. Right? And there are levels to this. There are levels to boxing. And the first thing that you learn when you get in the ring with someone who's been boxing for a little while and you've seen them throw that jab at the bag and you're like, film studying them, and you're like, man, that guy's jab sucks. I'm going to fuck him up. The first time you get in the ring and someone throws that jab and they go, ugh, and they get off the line with you real quick and you realize, man, it looks so much slower on the bag. It looks so much, where is he? There are levels to it. And you realize that you don't get to start the fight trying to counter over the top of your opponent's jab. You don't get to start the fight there. And it looks like that's DKU's entire strategy, is to control the space between him and his opponent with punches and to counter the jab. Now, this guy right here, Bradley Scott, Padman Brad, I think that he coaches people. I think that he spars. I think that this guy has been in with way more shitty fighters than DKU has. This guy has done way more rounds sparring with bad strikers, with bad boxers. He's done way more striking with people who can actually throw a goddamn punch, but still can't box. He's been in the ring with so many people who have so many more levels that allow them to get on the line and off the line with an opponent, at least, and do some of the skills that DKU looks like he should be capable of doing, right? But with power. Bradley Scott has fought many people who, pound for pound, are way better fighters than DKU. I don't want to say pound for pound, but I want to say DKU could not beat those people in fights either. And they're not even half as good, probably, as Bradley Scott. There are probably just random training partners. And these people all had the same idea. That they were going to get in the ring probably with some UFC fighter who doesn't know shit about sparring or about boxing, and they're going to try to counter his jab. Okay, so he's going to go out there, and you know what he's going to do? He's going to say, okay, well, if I was a coach, I would design a bunch of jabs that were really good for people to try to take away people's jabs, because that's what all amateurs like to do. That's where they all start. And DKU showed even in his fake sparring match where that guy is not even trying to punch him. He's just showing DKU all the places that his footwork is so slow that he's getting caught on the line. And again, DKU standing on the line, probably a decent striker. Decent. Okay? If he came into your gym and he was 20 years old, you'd be like, man, I could make you could have a career boxing. A career. I'm not saying you're going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread. I'm saying he could probably amass like a, 30-10 record, right? We could probably count on him being a 75% fighter, get to a bunch of random opportunities to be famous and have a career and make a bunch of money. Like, yeah, definitely, right? Even if he wasn't DKU, right? Is he going to be famous like that? Probably not, no. But here's some more drills. Another drill here. Very effective drill against beginners, right? Jab, slip, hook to the body or hook to the head, right? We're going to watch him throw this. Again, pretty excellent video here. Head off the line. Head off the line. Now, look at his head on the line with the hook. Very dangerous. Be very careful. DKU can't possibly make you pay for that, right? But if your head gets stuck on the line, even though you're throwing a big shot like this, right? Now, again, when you fight someone who's a beginner and they want to interact with your jab, and you shoot that jab, boop, 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 slip, boom. If your opponent's whole game plan is to interact with your jab, right? Now, let's take a look here. What happens when you throw the jab, right? And then DKU slips to the front foot here, right? Now you shot the jab, and now his body's open, right? Now, DKU's best attribute is his footwork. It's his best attribute. His striking, it's not. But the fact that he can move around so well, so freely, right? Flow like a butterfly, he's not too bad at it. He needs to trim the fat on his footwork so he knows what footwork pieces to use and what not to, so he can form a boxing strategy, right? But the biggest struggle that Bradley Scott's going to have is getting DKU to interact with him. That's going to be it. And fortunately for him, DKU thinks that he's going to be able to counter the jab of his opponent, of his supposedly overmatched opponent, right? Now, some things to think about. Again, jab, slip, right? If his opponent can make it to the slip to the outside. Jab, slip, right? Body shot, right? Or just the hook to the head, right? Few things to think about. Number one, Bradley Scott is a better striker than DKU. I watched the video. He's just a better striker, hands down. His mechanics are better. His head positioning is better. Where his weight is supposed to be. Now, I don't know if it's all going to translate into his fighting, right? Because this is a demo video. Some of it's going to be more exaggerated. Some of it's going to be, right, maybe not as fast or as sharp in real life, or it's going to be sharper or better, or maybe he'll have a different shot. You know, who knows how he's going to fight. But based on that video, he's a better striker on average than DKU. DKU, and we're going to take a look at a little bit of his more recent heavy bag work here. In this video here. His coach is holding the bag there. But we can see that DKU doesn't get his weight into the bag, right? Across the line, he's not really hitting this thing super hard. Now, a couple of things to think about, okay? Real quick, here's his pendulum 1-2, right? Hard 1-2, footwork 2, right? He can't throw a hard 1-2, right? He can't chain them together. He doesn't know how, right? He can only throw a feinting one. Again, one of the problems, striking, kinetic chain, he doesn't know how to use a full kinetic chain to do one move and then set up another move, or how much of his kinetic chain he actually needs to perform a correct strike. Few of those reasons. Number one, his head, always in the same place, right? Every drill he does, new drill, new drill, new drill, right? Same spot. His head's always in the same spot. So he doesn't get any additional power for transitioning his weight, really, changing positions, really, or crossing the line, okay? This is going to be exacerbated when he fights someone who's actually trying to hurt him, who has a reach advantage against him. All of these glaring problems are going to be even worse for him because the angles he has for safety are smaller because his body and his line is not as big as his opponent's. Okay? So he'll have less safety in the ring. Now again, if he lands this punch here, okay? Here's that punch right here. Boom. Let's imagine in our wildest dreams that he was able to land that punch at will against this man. Okay? So let's say he shoots the jab, and the right hand comes here. This right hand exactly, whoops, excuse me guys. This right hand, exactly. Do we believe that that is going to be stopping this man from throwing that punch? In any capacity. Do we believe that? Well, I'll tell you why I don't believe it right here, and why, again, I think he has literally zero shot. He has one punch. He has one weight transition. Again, he's a striking coach. He's not a fighter. He can't even get his weight into his catch, right? And here he is again telling him, no, not tapping, not tapping. Bring your weight forward. Bring your weight. Comes in, shoot. Look at him bring that weight. Look at him sink that weight on the front foot. Look at him bring that block, catch, right? Oh, just beautiful framework. Beautiful. Okay? And it's perfectly exaggerated so he can demonstrate his point to this guy. And again, he has no idea. Look at him try to dribble a basketball, try to tap it, right? Boop. But he's not bringing his forearm, right? He doesn't understand how to get his weight into this move. So, number one, this is a 6-round fight, okay? DKU has no ability to control the line without punching, okay? He can't do anything but punch when his opponent approaches. His feinting is very poor. His positioning is very poor. His ability to control his opponent without punching, very poor. If he constantly has to be throwing these punches, and this guy, by the way, DKU says he was exhausted at the end of this because his old age. Okay? Again, DKU is not an athlete. He said he was really tired. Number one, if you're not hitting your opponent, how do you slow them down? How do you keep them honest? Because this guy doesn't have to respect DKU's punches at all unless DKU's actually hitting him. And if not, he's just going to be walking through. Now, DKU hits him here. right? But I don't see this guy hitting DKU. Number one, again, easy jabs. On the line, off the line, on the line, 1-2, right? Again, it's not difficult to get DKU to interact with him. Because DKU has to throw punches, that's the only way he has to do it, otherwise he just runs. It's going to be very easy for Bradley Scott to get DKU to bring his weight forward, okay? Something that he has to learn here how to do without punches. Again, he's never learned how to bring his weight to the line without punching before. So he's going to be very honest in his attempts to control his opponent. This is going to give someone like Bradley Scott, who's been in the ring with people who've tried to fight off of his jab his whole life, a lot of opportunities to shoot his jab and set up combinations, right? Jab, slip, body shot, right? Oh, or right here, probing jab. Now what happens if his opponent counters that jab? Okay, counter it. Say he smacks him right in the face, right? And then he eats a body shot from this big behemoth of a man. Again, basic combat, right? This move, this is the same one that DKU was practicing on the heavy bag, right? Remember when he threw his 1-2 as well? Right? 1-2, right? Same move. Shooting the jab, gets into position. Again, the things that DKU does on the bag, they're so basic and rudimentary and compromised, right? He doesn't even wind up being in a boxing position. Most of the time he's looking to do his demos, right? Anyway, I do think that DKU is probably going to get annihilated, okay? I think that, how do I want to say this? DKU has shown his lack of combat experience, his lack of understanding about what real combat and real boxing and real fighting is all about. He thinks he's going to be able to get on the line with somebody, land one hard punch, and have that be enough to control the space between him and his opponent. And he's going to learn real quick that that's not the case. That his technique for striking is not nearly good enough for him to be able to move around with the kind of footwork he's going to look to attempt and to control the line. He's not going to be able to do that against somebody who can practice feinting or practice using his jab to set up a punch. Again, it's going to be really easy for DKU, or really easy for Bradley Scott to get him to interact with him because he only has one way to interact. Now, even if DKU learns to bring his weight forward and catch punches and block and interact with his opponent in ways that are not punching, is this the kind of jab that he's going to be taking, right? Are we going to be expecting him to be catching that jab and then interacting with it and then catching it again at that beat and that rhythm? Is that what we're going to be expecting from DKU? An amateur? An amateur at best? So anyway, Bradley Scott has 6 rounds. DKU is not big enough to catch and block punches against Bradley Scott. He does not have the positions. He does not have the ability to transition his weight and catch a punch or block a punch. So he's not going to be able to be on the line with Bradley Scott at all. So his best weapon is going to be his feet and his ability to get off the line. And right there in that video we saw that Bradley Scott, as long as he can use his probing jab, he'll be able to pendulum onto his opponent or shoot the jab and then move off the line when the counter comes and into it. So, if DKU wants to interact and counter Bradley Scott, on the line, off the line, on the line. If he doesn't want to interact with him, if he wants to just move away, excuse me, shooting this shot, taking a big step, and finding a body shot. Okay? 2 very, very basic drills. And these are the only 2 drills that Bradley Scott needs to beat DKU. In fact, if he wanted to, and he was so inclined, he could set a challenge for himself where he proved it. Okay? Now, in my opinion, I think that would be and like that's what I would do. I would make a video, just, you know, if you guys happen to watch my video, I sent you guys a message or whatever, you know. I would make a video that I wouldn't release saying, these are the strategies I'm going to use in the fight, and I want you guys to interact. I want you guys to watch how he interacts with this tool. I want you to see what he does when I do A, B, C, and D. Okay? I want you, you know. Anyway, make a little game plan for yourself. You know, don't just try to make it about knocking out the extremely overmatched DKU, which, if he makes it out of the first round, he might not come out for the second, by the way. Just an FYI, okay? But yeah, I don't want to say choreograph it, right? But be the one that's in control of the engagement, like you're going to be the one in control of the engagement, right? You get to dictate all the combat sequences, right? So anyway, have fun with it. Make the video, and I really, you know, I don't want you guys to embarrass him. Not that he needs to be embarrassed, right? The things that he has achieved and learned and can teach in a fun and interesting way, it's awesome, right? The claims that he's like, you know, I don't know what his claims might be. Maybe he's just a coach. Who knows? I don't know what he's saying, but he's not gonna win this fight. Anyway, if you guys like the video and you guys want to learn how to fight and you guys want personal coaching, check out my Patreon. It's $50 to sign up, $50 a month. Yeah, I will take all the care and consideration that I do of every film study, everything, and I will teach you everything I know to get you to the place you want to be as a fighter. Okay? I will set you on that path to become who you want to be as a fighter, to learn the things that you want to learn. Okay? Or if you're interested in film studies like this one, check out my Patreon. It's $10 to sign up, $10 a month. There's like 700 videos on there. You will never ever finish my library. And it is hands down the best film study on the planet. All the film study on the planet. Okay? My Patreon has the best. Alright? The most complete. The most interesting and innovative concepts. And, you know, all that stuff. You know, anyway, check it out. It's $10 to sign up, $10 a month. There's tons of coaching, all that stuff. And then again, until the holidays, check out promo code 30 for 30% off of any of the programs in my library. There's a lot of really cool stuff. And if you got any questions, just let me know. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video.